The president of IMANI Africa, Franklin Cudjoe, na oko bolare show so, Emma oni bolare etwitwitwim komoma ne den sempi edutudwa. Na in fact, Franklin Cudjoe can send be ama me ho adwire me pa, and I'm sure say after watching this video so no, unso hu bedwire. According to Franklin Cudjoe, oye IMANI Africa president no, or say at a point President John Dramani Mahama fa phone efreno ebisano eye ne opinion on the mining situation in Ghana. As a president, you believe in people's ideas, no? You call people for their ideas and their opinion. Just say President Mahama tam phone friend ebisano say na dream chira ne sen ewo eye mining issue ewo Ghana. Na oche say emre bi etwem before Akufo-Addo be the president no ni o ma na ehwibo na Akufo-Addo from mo be debate nyina but Akufo-Addo ba power o din nsem hunu no mu ka kire na Akufo-Addo ntie na wontie advice o mu frɛ ne ne di nkomo a ontie afutuo ne nyina ka ho bi na mamuo no eye basa no yentie Franklin Cudjoe.
Some politicians still find us very worthy. They find us very important to ask our views. And I feel that for me is the most important of all of the work we've done. At least we are now paying back in one way or the other. I mean, when you... So, for instance, we are called to, for instance, give an opinion on an important subject matter like... how do I call it? What's this guy's name again? The mining situation in Ghana.
Okay.
You recall this conversation about lithium. You have a feeling that, look, there's a lot of debate. There's a lot of debate about royalties and all of that. And then somebody calls you out of the blue and says, look, I want the clearest opinion from you. And there's no other person than the president of the country. I mean, what do you mean your opinion?
So President Mahama called you.
Well,
it's there, yes.
It's that way. And then says, look, I know there's been a lot of talk about this, but I think I value your insights, the institution's insights quite more, and so we'd like to hear from you. And then you do that, and following 3 days, he withdraws the bill from Parliament. I mean, you feel very
fulfilled,
respected and fulfilled. In that case, you reintroduces it, and then, well, as they say, water passes under the bridge. But at least there's some significant input that you made, so you're respected. I'm just using this as an example because there are other things we are asked to comment on, not necessarily privately, but I'm just trying to say that all the work we've done in the past, whatever number of years, is now beginning to make a lot of sense to me when you get called. With Nana-Addo, many people do not know that the free SH policy, we discussed this like this across the table.
You discussed the free SHS policy with President Nana-Addo?
2015, yes. We had breakfast.
You did that?
KK breakfast with him and Freeman, Barry, and then...
before he became president?
Oh, yes. We had a debate, full debate, because at the time we started writing about this and said, look, guys, let's meet. And we told him, well, look, Mr. President, sorry, Mr. Flag Bearer to be, or whatever it was. Look, if you're going to do this major thing, you've got to be careful. I mean, you've got to ask yourself, how are you going to put so much money behind it? Or you want to make people also pay? I mean, those who can pay. Well, we argued and said, look, guys, I am certain in my mind that if I stop corruption, we can actually use that money to fund education. You can't argue against something like this. This is the greatest repost to our arguments, because we were market-oriented people. We're libertarians, right? We don't believe in free things, right? So somehow, even if you believe in free things, you think it should come on the back of a scholarship, right? So means testing must be done. And I said, I was having none of that. Anyway, then he asked us, go and do research, extrapolate into the future, maybe up to 2020, what the numbers will look like, what the cost will look like. And so we go into conclave, myself, Bright Simmons, Kofi Bento, Salom, 4 of us, and then we got another person, an educationist, and we went to conclave. For 2 weeks, we did all the theoretical calculations and everything, and then produced a document. Well, we said this is our contribution to your work. In there, we told him, eventually, if you win power, we'll still criticize you because we think that.
You told?
Oh yes, we told him.
Former President Addo right there and there.
Yes. We still, because we had a position we held, and we're not really going to waver. But of course, he also had his position. And lo and behold, he won. And when he won, we were right there again saying, President, you can't do this, you can't. It was interesting, right? So I'm just saying that at this stage, and even when he became president, he used to call us, we have conversations. But at the point, I realized that if you advise this man, he doesn't seem to be listening, you know.
Oh, really? Is that what you found out? Or was that the case?
From 2020 thereabout, 2021, some of us saw the writing on the wall, and we said, look, Mr. President, you need to rein in some of the people who are making your government quite unpopular. You know, there are contracts here and there. There are things that you really don't want to be seen supporting, right? Anyway, he used a term in public. He said, oh, you know, some of the CSOs, they come and see me, when they complain. When you go and look at the thing, it's damn squid. You know? The British must say damn squid. Clearly speaking, it's like...
So he was referring to,
Oh, well, we all knew to...
Did you feel slighted and hurt that you're having conversations with him and it comes out?
Well, actually, because of the incidents he was referring to, the issue at the time, I think it had to do with drones, and we had also talked about Carnegie VG. So this is like public conversation. It was happening in the media. And so people were like, the media was like, oh, look, there are things happening. You are not addressing them. Or, you know, some of these issues people come and talk about. Like, I recall my colleagues were like, that's your friend. He says everything you say is damn sweet. I said, well, that's fine. We'll take it in our stride. We also need to be criticized. But I don't think he was fair in that manner, because we think we give you real... anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that at the end of the day, some of us decided to withdraw because we felt that this ship was going to tank anyway. I mean, I remember telling my good friend Gabby that we wrote them off from 2022.
IMANI wrote off the MPP in 2022.
Exactly.
What did you see?
Oh, actually, we saw it from 2019.
What?
The splurging. What I call the road to the fastest route to the bottom was when these projects were occasioned. This was it one village, one dam.
Yes.
All those monies that were pushed. I mean, you could see clearly our friends who got contracts, they had never worked for. They were like, Charlie, I could give you. It's as if you go there, they give you, they say, oh, you bring a bill, go and dig something. And they were digging.
Did you tell Gabi or Chodaku, your good friend, about that? Did you?
Gabi has always known my position. I didn't even have to tell him in closer quarters. I mean, it was something we were already talking about publicly. By the way, we were already discussing this matter. So be careful, because this has a way of affecting the bottom line.
So this is Franklin Cudjoe. Say, we are abiding by power. You have to listen to the people. You understand? As a government, you know, say uba power na omanfo e kasa ubetie. You see, Ghana for yensu ye nipa, you feelings, obi e ya de so e ya, obi e ya de so e de. You understand? Indeed, you must be government ye kasa kire wa ode wa so to form na wati. Aban ye otie ne manfo asem no, ne manfo pen asem. Aso kwa ye hu arrogant wa mamu be to say every say nkrofo dey dwemi. Yeah, that's what's going to happen. The lack of understanding, lack of respect. We don't listen yenti obia enomunde.